Quando mi prende la malinconia, mi metto a letto a pensare a me, alla mia vita, a certe cose strane, vero, all'esistenza dei buchi neri. E mi si muove qualche cosa dentro che mi riporta alla vita vera, negli orizzonti strani e coordinati danno fermenti di arcobaleni.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to this meeting, which is not a show, even though it includes a performance, and which is certainly not a lesson, even though it involves some words. As you might have imagined from the title, it is something that combines both elements. I also imagine you suspect that what we heard was not Debussy. But you might ask, why should it be Debussy? Because today we will talk about this Fauno, that one from Mallarmé, set to music by Claude Debussy, in one of fundamental works for the birth of 20th century music, and equally fundamental for dance, with the choreography and interpretation by Václav Nijinsky. This work was enormously scandalous at the time of its creation in 1912. Prelude to the Afternoon of a Fauno. But we return to that. First, a few words, of course, a prelude of words, just before the musical one on the one that is danced. Words that serve as handmaidens to dance, and even better, as we often like to say, words that are the B side of the dance. Words, as I was saying, and not to explain. There is nothing to explain, and if there is something to explain, it is not our job to do so. Words, as an introduction, in the etymological sense of entering into, of helping to do so, of a preceding and accompanying something like dance, which is as far removed as possible from the significance of words. And why not also meandering a bit, moving away from the main subject without an apparent reason, but never entirely, circling around it, dancing with the words like in a strange path, without a center from where you start and always return. Just as dance sometimes seems to go in one direction, only to then head in a completely different one. Dance, while remaining dance, is not just dance. It is language, thought, perhaps even psychology. As Paul Valéry says, I like, the dancer's feet also know how to write and think. And this is probably less easy to imagine. Before continuing, please wait a few seconds. I have to go somewhere too. I just needed to bring something on stage. And perhaps, as was done with the old 45 RPM records, I will let you listen to a famous, super famous B-side, and then you will see the A.
Penny Lane, there is a barber showing photographs of every head he's had the pleasure to know, and all the people that come and go stop and say hello. On the corner is a banker with a motor car, the little children laughing him behind his back, and the banker never wears a mask in the pouring rain. Very strange. Penny Lane is in my ears and in my eyes. There beneath the blue suburban skies, I sit and meanwhile back in Penny Lane there is a fireman with an hourglass, and in his pocket is a portrait.
The action I have just performed, in its apparent simplicity, has had, and probably still has, in many places around the world, an absolute, almost transcendent value and importance. Laying out a carpet, whether it be Arabic or Persian, Kazakh or Afghan, Turkish or Turkmen, originating from Tabriz, Isfahan, or Kabul, has been and continues to be, although perhaps to a lesser extent, an action of infinite importance, both practical and symbolic. Laying out a carpet for many peoples in many places is equal to bringing paradise into hell. It is like bringing a colorful garden of a fruit into the single color on the scorching heat of the desert. For many people, especially nomads, the carpet is a bed and floor, a cradle and storage bag, a tablecloth on which to eat, a place for prayer, and much, much more. A place of life spread out on another place where life struggles to thrive. The most represented fruit in Oriental carpets, the only symbol of the plant world that has spread from Persia throughout Asia along the Silk Road, is, is the pomegranate, a plant symbolizing fertility, wealth, and prosperity, because it requires very little water and is able to grow on any type of terrain, constituting a sort of a miracle of life. Okay, this was a bit a digression. Our carpet too is a place of life, a garden that just needs to be laid out on the ground, and as if by magic, thence arises. And this can be done anywhere, even places where dance usually does not reach. From cities to desert, from hospitals to universities, from the consecrated churches, and why not, even consecrated ones, to the slopes of volcanoes. And with dance comes movement, comes life. Of my kingdom, everything is yours, except this carpet, which I keep for myself. It flies when commanded, fly, carpet! And with it, in my time, I will go to paradise. Nothing. Huh? Usually with those words, the carpet will fly in the film, the one from the 1950s in a Technicolor, you know, The Thief of Baghdad, whose soundtrack you have just heard. Of course, this was not Debussy either, although we are getting a bit closer. But returning to our Fauno, more than anything, an additional curiosity, another piece of information, a sort of public service announcement. Debussy's Prelude was, for me, the first composition of a full-length creation, along with Ravel's Bolero and Stravinsky The Rite of Spring, titled Trilogy of Ecstasy, which debuted on May 3rd at the Teatro del Maggio Musicale Fiorentino, the opera house of Florence. In a short time, three masterpieces on which I have reflected for more than 10 years. I wanted to wait until I found an interpretation that I believe is unified and perhaps even unprecedented, that could bring together the three creations in the same evening. An interpretation tied to today's society, but at the same time transcending and transfiguring it in its universality. A scene that simultaneously includes persecution and sacrifice in the rite of spring, inclusion, vice, and lust in Bolero, and finally, exclusion, courtship, and eroticism in the afternoon of a Fauno. By the way, did you know that Mallarmé's The Afternoon of a Fauno, which inspired Debussy, is set in Sicily? Yes, precisely in Sicily. Mallarmé's versus Say. O Sicilian shores of a tranquil pond plundered. So, in Sicily, indeed right near my home, on the slopes of Mount Etna, exactly inside the Etna Park. Mallarmé continues like this. Etna, it is among your slopes, visited by Venus, who places her white foot on the hard lava. Not that this has any particular importance, but it pleases me to remember it. Moreover, considering the climatics reflections that influence Mallarmé's Fauno, I also recall that the ardor, the erotic memories of the Fauno subside as sunset approaches and the temperature drops. Practically, the daily experience of almost all provincial Sicilian adolescents in the summer. Yes, be careful. Before the creation of the internet. Sicily and carpets, flying or not, Afghan or Persian, or even better, Arab, considering that the Arabs dominated Sicily for over 250 years, which, by the way, it was perhaps the best foreign domination in Sicily among the countless we have had. Okay, the circle closes then. The carpet has an apotropaic power able to ward off any malign influence, and we will always need these, whether we believe in the higher power. The carpet is a portal, is a portal to another world. For us, the world of music and dance. Even Debussy's melody is like a carpet, arabesque, with a sinuous line that recalls floral decorations. And it is no coincidence that Debussy himself defined his musical writing as undulating, lulling, rich in curved lines. I was forgetting the initial word. This. It is the splendid voice of Giuni Russo, an Italian singer, in one of her songs with the lyrics, you know by whom? Who? By Franco Battiato, a wonderful Italian composer, titled appropriately, The Flying Carpet. We are finished. Well, but John Lennon said that life passes quickly within certain afternoons that never end. But we still hope that the afternoon of our Fauno is not one of those for you.